The information and opinions expressed on senior living are neither legally binding nor the responsibility of this cable system. The following program is made possible by a generous donation from the Veterans Assistance Association.
Hello, my name is Pat Simasko. I'm an elder law attorney. And I want to welcome you to Senior Living. On this program, we discuss legal issues that affect the lives of senior citizens across the state of Michigan. Today, we'll be discussing the issues regarding Medicaid and Medicare. With me today in our studio, with me today is our studio audience. Say hello, audience. Hello. And I'm looking forward to answering a lot of questions from you because this is a very complicated area. And I just like as many questions because the people at home have the same questions. Throughout the year, we're going to be talking about various topics. Today, we're going to be focusing primarily on Medicaid and Medicare. And if you have any questions for the audience at home, next time we can answer it, and you can call me at 586-468-6793, or you can email me a question at simaskolaw.com. And we want to get started right now with a question that came up from our last session. In the last session, we talked about estate planning, wills and trusts, and everybody wants to avoid probate, make sure their assets avoid probate, and we talked a lot about living trust agreement. And Marilyn sent in a question. Her mom has a trust, and now she has to go into a nursing home. Will that be protected from, her assets be protected if she wants to get Medicaid benefits? And the answer is absolutely no. Medicaid, if you have a trust agreement, does nothing to shield your assets on a typical family or revocable trust agreement. So we're going to talk a lot about that today. And if anybody has loved ones that are in a nursing home or may have to go in a nursing home in the future, you really want to watch this program and really pay attention because it's a very confusing area. And the first question that people have is, what's the difference between Medicare and Medicaid? Does anybody know out in the audience the difference between Medicare and Medicaid? Medicare is hospital insurance when you retire. When you get Social Security benefits, you're going to get Medicare. Medicare pays the hospital bill. Now, if mom has to go to the hospital for 3 days, and she's in the hospital for 3 days, and then continues to a nursing home, Medicare is going to pay a total of 100 days, okay? They pay 100% for the first 20 days. After that, it's going to be a coordinated benefit with your Medicare supplement policy. So if you have a Blue Cross policy, a Humana policy, some other Medicare supplement policy, combined, they're going to pay a total of 100 days as long as skilled care is being performed on your loved one. Skilled care typically is physical therapy, occupational therapy, rehab. Mom fell and broke her hip. Dad had a stroke and they're trying to get him to walk again or talk again. That's the type of therapy that they're going to pay for. If you don't have a supplemental policy, Medicare is going to pay for 20 days, 100%. After that, there's going to be a copay. So if you think that you have a full 100 days with Medicare and or your supplemental policy, you're not going to be for sure have that. There's no guarantee. Once that Medicare is used up, Medicaid is the next benefit that you want to get. And that is a benefit that's paid through the state, and it's an asset-based benefit. So Medicare, hospital bill, 100 days in the nursing home, Medicaid is the next benefit that we want to go for. With Medicaid, they look at all of your assets. So typically the family, mom and dad, they have a house, they have a car, they have maybe a couple $100,000 in the bank. Now we have to get Medicaid to pay the nursing home bill. Right now in Michigan, the average nursing home cost is $6,600 per month. Some of them are over $8,000 per month. So it's very important that you know what the rules are so you can protect your assets. So when they look at your assets, they look at everything. They look at your house, your car, your stocks, your bonds, your IRAs, your 401k, your cottage up north, your condo down in Florida. They look at all of your assets. Now once they look at all of your assets, they ask, are you a single person or are you a married person? Okay? And there's a different set of asset rules for the two of them. So right now, there's a lot of confusion. Mom has a house and she's in the nursing home. She's probably not going to be coming home. Is the house an exempt asset? Is the house an exempt asset? If mom's in the nursing home, is Medicaid going to make you sell that house before Medicaid's going to pay your nursing home bill? And the answer is no. The house is exempt in Michigan, except there was a law change a couple years ago. In the old days, your house could have an unlimited value. It's your house, and it's all the property around you. So if you have a lot next door, if you have a farm and you have the acreage around your farm, the house and all of the contiguous property is exempt. Now the value has to be less than $500,000. Okay? So with the downturn in the housing market, that doesn't affect too many people except farmers. What do farmers have? A lot of land. What do they don't have any of? Money. So that's the people that it really hurts, and that's sad. We know how to protect it, though. So the house is exempt in all of the contiguous property as long as mom intends to return back to that house when she gets out of the nursing home. Okay? Now, people that have had a loved one in a nursing home, mom could be 150 years old, been living in the nursing home for 20 years, and you go ask her, Mom, where are you going when you get out of here? She's going home, right? That's the test. As long as mom says, I'm going back to that house, that's her principal residence, and Medicaid will not make you sell it, all right? Next thing, money in the bank, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. The total assets that mom is allowed as a single person is $2,000. $2,000. And that's kind of scary. Now they look at everything. So mom, she has a bank account with $150,000 in it, and she's got the bank account in her name and her two children's name. And now mom's in the nursing home. Does Medicaid look at the whole $150,000 account or just mom's share, $50,000? Does anybody know here? They look at everything. Everything. It doesn't matter whose name's on the account, it's all mom's money. So if little Johnny's on with her, don't think half of it's protected because it's all mom's money. If she has access to that account, Medicaid says that she has to spend it down. Okay? We can understand that because it's mom's money and she put her son and daughter on the account. This happens though. Daughter is a single person. Daughter's always been told you want to avoid probate if something happens. So daughter, put mom on the account with you. So if daughter dies, mom has access to the money. Now mom's in the nursing home. Whose money is it? It's mom's money. It's mom's money. So they can take all of daughter's money. We can prove that it's daughter's, but we have to jump through a lot of hoops. It's not fun jumping through hoops with Medicaid. I don't know if anyone here has ever dealt with Medicaid, but it's not a lot of fun. So you really have to look at what the assets are, and you really want to make sure that if you have children, that mom's name is not on your bank accounts with you. Because if something happens to her and she had to go to a nursing home, they would look at those assets. Question?
Is there a time when people can have their names removed? Is there a special waiting period if someone is on there or it has to be removed?
Absolutely, and we're going to talk about that probably in the next section, but there is a big, big law change on that, and we'll talk about that. So, but the thing that I want to get to the people out in the audience in here, it's never too early to start planning. You can't start before today, so you at least start today or tomorrow the next day. Because if you have more time, there's more things that we can do to protect your assets. But there is a huge law change on that. So people always ask, Mom has an IRA. Is that included as an asset? Yes. Mom has a 401k plan. Is that an asset? Yes. The only thing is the house is exempt and all of the contents within the house, the personal property. Now, Mom, she's 137 years old, blind, and has never driven a day in her life. Can she own a car? Anybody know? She can own a car. If she's driving, they'll let us know. We're going that way, and I'll tell everybody in the audience we're going to go that way. But she is entitled to own a car. All right. They were talking about changing the law, and they haven't done it yet, where the car has to be bought before Mom goes in the nursing home, and it has to have a value of less than $25,000. But that's not the case yet. So Mom can still own a car. Okay, and it really doesn't matter the value. All right. Funeral contracts. Mom and Dad can go out and pay for their funeral. And they can buy their crypt and their plots and their cremation. They can pay for pretty much anything that they want to have their funeral taken care of. Now, life insurance. People have life insurance policies, and there is, if you look at the life insurance policy for an exempt asset, and you look at the face of the policy, and usually these life insurance policies come in folders about this big. You look at the front of that policy, if the face value is $1,500 or less, all of the cash value is exempt. Okay? If the face value is over $1,500, all of the cash value is countable. So the kids think, oh, Mom has a life insurance policy and she's going to use that to bury herself. That doesn't work. If the value is over $1,500, you have to cash it in. And we're going to be talking a lot more about that after we come back from the break, because this is all the time that we have in this session. And when we come back from the break, we're going to finish up talking about the life insurance, and we're going to talk about the new laws changes. So we'll be back in just a minute. Thank you.
Louis definitely has it on lock, as we see him right here throwing it on his first hit, no problem. Typical Blyler fashion. Whoa!
I'm Gretchen Blyler, Olympic silver medalist.
And I'm Louis Vito, U.S. Snowboarding Grand Prix champion.
It's taken a lot of work to get where we are in snowboarding.
You know, I love being active all year round, whether it's snowboarding, dancing, or just hanging out with your friends outdoors.
Say yes to a healthy lifestyle and no to underage drinking.
To become an all-star, go to AskListenLearn.com.
My wife's drinking really made things difficult for me. I had to work hard just to keep everything normal. My EAP counselor at work sent me to Al-Anon family groups. I didn't think I needed to go, but it turned out to be great advice. Are you troubled by someone's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group meeting from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON.
Thanks for coming back. This is Pat Simasko, and we're talking about Medicaid planning and Medicaid benefits. And I know that there's a lot of misinformation out there and a lot of confusion. So if you have any questions at all, please call me at 468-6793 or email me at simaskolaw.com, and we can definitely get your answers next time. So what we're talking about was Medicaid and the assets and what are the exempt assets. And we're talking about life insurance. So Mom can have a $1,500 policy. Dad can have a $1,500 policy. Now, back in the old days, there would be these little life insurance policies that the life insurance agent would actually walk around the neighborhood and collecting premiums. Those are called industrial policies. And everybody's nodding their head. You guys are way too young to know anything about industrial policies. These were usually $500 face values. So Mom could have 3 of them. But if she has 4 of them, We have to get rid of one. Okay? And what I was mentioning before, the family thinks that mom has already earmarked this life insurance policy to pay for her funeral. And that's what moms say. I want to make sure I have enough to bury myself. If mom's in the nursing home, if that policy has a more than a $1,500 face value, she has to cash it in and go pay for her funeral, or she has to take the policy over to the funeral director and assign it to the funeral home for payment. If she doesn't do that, Medicaid is going to deny the application because she has too much money. All right, that's very important. Also, for people that have MetLife or Prudential life insurance policy, and they're very, very common. Back a number of years ago, I don't know how many, they gave their policyholders stock. Now, if mom's in the nursing home and she has a $1,500 or $2,000 life insurance policy, we know about that. But you probably don't know that she has maybe 30 or 40 or 50 shares of MetLife stock. Well, if you apply for Medicaid for mom, and you think, wow, she's got $1,500 life insurance, Pat says we're allowed to do the funeral, Pat says we can have $2,000 in the bank and a house, you're going to apply, and maybe 4 or 5 or 6 months from now, Medicaid's going to deny the application. You say, why? What happened? I'm under assets. The reason that you're going to be denied because you have MetLife stock that nobody knows about. Mom told you had MetLife insurance but no stock. So that's worth maybe $3,000. So you think, oh my God, you got a denial in. Now you turn around and you have to cash in the stock. You would think that you could cash in the stock for $3,000 and give it to the nursing home, and Medicaid would pay back from day one. It doesn't work that way. Medicaid says that if you're over assets each month, even by as little as $10, you owe the nursing home the full amount that month. So if it took Medicaid 5 months to deny your application because you're over $3,000 in assets, 5 months times $6,000 nursing home bill is how much? $30,000. So just by messing up a little bit, you owe the nursing home $30,000. Where are they going to get the money from? They're going to sue you and take mom's house. So you got to know the rules. You have to know the rules. Now, mom just had a stroke. Mom just had a stroke. She can't sign to cash in the stock. She can't sign to cash in the life insurance policy. How are you going to cash it in? The people that watch the first show or the last show know you need a power of attorney. That's so important to have, that financial power of attorney. It gives us the tools, it gives the kids the tools to do the Medicaid planning that we need. So it's very important. If you don't have one, please go out and get one. For your sake, for your children's sake, and more importantly, for my sake. Okay, because that's what I need. So, house is exempt, $2,000 is exempt, 1 car, funeral contract, and a little bit of life insurance. That's for a single person. For a married person, house is exempt, $2,000, 1 car, $2,000 exempt for the person that's in the nursing home, funeral contract for each, funeral goods and services for the person in the home, goods for the person that's at home, $1,500 life insurance, and half of the assets up to about $109,000. Okay? Half of the assets up to approximately $109,000. So, mom and dad, they have $150,000 in the bank. How much is protected? $75,000. Okay? If they have $150,000 in the bank, half is protected up to $109,000, so $75,000. If they have $300,000 in the bank, half is protected up to $109,000, so $109,000 is protected. we have to protect the rest. That's the spend down. That's the spend down that people talk about. Mom has $50,000 in the bank. How do we protect it over the $2,000? Mom and Dad have $300,000 in the bank. How do we protect it over the $109,000? We know how to protect it. Okay, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Big loss changes, and I want to answer that question that you asked before. How long do you have to start, or how early do you have to start to protect your assets? And it starts out with gifting. We talk about gifting. In the old days, the look-back period was how long? 3 years, right? That isn't really the case. In the old days, we could have given away $11,000 per month. And every month that we give that money away, that money was protected from the nursing home. Okay? They changed that law. The law was changed February 8th of 2006. It was by the federal government, and now Michigan adopted the law July 1st of 2007. So it is the law. What's the new look-back period? 5 years. 5 years is a look-back period. Well, what does that mean? Right now, Medicaid looks at any gifts or transfers that were made in the last 5 years. The total gift allowed that Medicaid does not care about in a 5-year period is $220. You can say it louder. Wow. And the people at home, $220. Wow, that's the maximum gift that Medicaid doesn't care about. And they base it on a 1-day penalty. And remember I said the average nursing home cost is $6,600 a month? That's $220 a day. If you give away over $220, they're not going to pay for 1-day nursing home bill for every $220 that you give away. So if you give away $220, it's 1 day. If you give away $2,200, it's 10 days, and it goes up from there. Wow, that's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And we actually asked Medicaid, what about church gifts? It counts as a gift. What about wedding presents? What about birthday presents? What about all these other things that pop up? It counts as a gift. We need to be worried about it. We need to be worried about it. And you need to be worried about it too. Now, there's a lot of misinformation out there. And every single person that has someone in a nursing home is going to talk to someone, a friend, a cousin, the hairdresser, the barber, the lady in the bank. They're going to talk to everyone, and they're going to get different answers. And the biggest answer that I hear, oh, the IRS says that you can give away $13,000 per year, right? The IRS says you can give away $13,000 per year, per child, per anyone that you want to. So if the IRS says it's okay, Medicaid says it's okay, right? Wrong. Wrong. The IRS gifting rules are completely opposite than what they've even been told, but Medicaid rules supersede the IRS gifting rules. Okay? Now, the actual IRS gifting rule is that you can give away one-time gift during your lifetime $1 million. Okay? So just because the IRS says that you can give away $1 million tax-free doesn't mean that Medicaid's going to allow you to give it away. All right? So if you talk to your cousin's girlfriend's aunt and she told you this rule because her hairdresser's next door neighbor went through it in Arizona 5 years ago, don't rely on that as being truthful. That is a wrong information. Okay. Any questions on that? Did I answer your question? You got to start early. Okay.
But what about being on the insurance policy, or on that type of thing? You said that there'd be multiple names on it.
If I don't understand the question.
Earlier on, you'd mentioned something about there be multiple names on
A bank account.
A bank account.
Oh, when can you take it off?
Right.
I'd take it off right now, and I'd hopefully get through the 5-year period. Okay. If something comes up within that 5-year period, I would definitely deal with Medicaid and try and get it sorted out that, hey, that was never mom's money. That was set up as a convenience account. Now that it's in the daughter's name, I would have the daughter talk to someone about doing some type of an estate plan so that it doesn't go through probate if she passes away. Okay. For single people to save 100% of the money, you want to start 5 years before you have to apply for Medicaid. So if you can tell me when mom's going in the nursing home, I'll schedule the appointment now for you. And if you can't tell me that, you just got to start as early as you can. Okay, you just have to start as early as you can. Okay, for single people, that's the rule. For married people, we can protect 100% of the money 100% of the time, because there's really, really good Medicaid rules for protecting the spouse at home. Okay, they want Medicaid. Medicaid wants the person at home protected. So if you have that $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000 or $1 million, we can protect every dime of those assets if you're married. So ladies, if you're single, go get married. Okay? Okay. Now the last thing real quick is the house. The house is exempt from Medicaid, but there's a new law out, it's called the Estate Recovery Act. And it's a complicated, but the key for the Estate Recovery Act is Michigan finally adopted it, and they said that if mom has a house, we're not going to make you sell the house before we pay for Medicaid, but they want to file a lien on the property, but more important, the probate estate after mom passes away. Now, we've ran out of time in this show to talk about that, but we're going to be doing that in the very next segment. So I'd like to thank my studio audience for sticking with me here today. You've been great, been wonderful. I love your questions. And again, if you have any questions in the audience or at home, call me at 468-6793 or send me an email at simaskolaw.com. We'll make sure we answer the questions next time. Thank you.